Measuring productivity of construction projects has never been an easy task. Yet, at Odebrecht, it is important to track construction labor productivity as it can make the difference between a project being profitable or a project destined to create a loss. As a construction manager, it's our job to keep close tabs on what employees and the workforce are doing on the job site to ensure that work is meeting optimal productivity standards. This constant assessment takes managers a great deal of time and effort. However, analyzing the data from such observations can help one take stock of the situation and take corrective actions to realize the project charter. To experience this firsthand, we, a team of 7 students emulating the project team of Odebrecht, the large Brazilian construction corporation, decided to study a repetitive construction activity. We chose the installation of a storm sewer as the activity under perusal. The broad strategy was to first understand the existing field conditions and the terms of the contract. Detailed work process analysis of current practices was undertaken via crew balance charts, process charts, and flow diagrams. A productivity improvement program was undertaken to implement 3 alternate work processes, each with a different focus, varying from reducing time to reducing the size of the work crew or proposing a new work methodology. The project site chosen for the study was the third phase of MCORE. This involves construction along White Street from 2nd Street to Wright Street and on Wright Street from White through Springfield Avenue. MCORE stands for the Multimodal Corridor Enhancement Project, undertaken to improve mobility in the core of our community through the Tiger Federal Grant Program.
The aim of this work is to have a multi-modal complete street corridor to accommodate all modes of travel such as bus, pedestrian, bike, and vehicle. The team is improving not only the superstructure but also the infrastructure. To do that, there are 4 basic steps on this project that they've been following. Step 1. Demolition and excavation. With a hydraulic excavator, they are scraping off the pavement to make it ready for the excavation. Then they are digging the parts that are necessary to replace the storm sewers and pipes. Here is one of the excavator, which is Deere 310 SG that has been used during the excavation phase. Step 2. Storm sewer installation. The process starts with the replacement of the storm sewers and pipes. Then the team is removing the old pipe system to put the new ones. New pipes and storm sewers are being moved and placed with a hydraulic excavator. Step 3. Backfill. Once they're done with replacing the pipes, backfilling and grading are the last things that they should do before the road construction. As you can see here, the crew is using a truck loader to fill the pavement area. Step 4. Pavement construction. This is the last step of a challenging and important work. Pavement, sidewalk, curb, and gutter are just some of the components of the road that affect the lifetime of the project. As you can see here, with Deere 200C, they are pouring the concrete for the sidewalk. Road construction step is very important to have a good-looking and effective multi-modal complete street corridor.
Regarding the site conditions, as you can see, East White Street is completely closed on the section between 4th and 5th Street. Excavation is ongoing on this part. Since this section is closed, traffic is extremely affected. Multiple buses for CUMTD were rerouted. These buses now serve temporary stops on East Student Street. The right lane of 4th Street between East White Street and East Student Street is closed. Consequently, the traffic is also rerouted, but the left lane from north to south is open to traffic. However, the pedestrian walkway is still open on the north side of East White Street. Fences are placed to protect and prevent pedestrians from going into the job site. As you can see, multiple cones are placed along the fences, so they are visible to drivers and pedestrians during nighttime. 2 big signs indicates that the 2 lines are closed on East White Street. A smaller sign indicates that the sidewalk is closed too and asks pedestrians to use the walkway on the opposite side. Odebrecht's main interest is to ensure the safety of its worker on the job site. For this purpose, the company appoints a safety manager. His main role is to secure that all safety rules are implemented on the construction site. Some of the tasks taken by the safety manager include the permission to visit the job site, the proper attire of visitors, raising awareness on safety, and keeping a safe distance. Regarding the safety of the team working on the excavation and placing of tubes, the site and workers were found to meet all safety requirements imposed by OSHA. OSHA prescribes construction personal protective equipment for construction workers, including safety glasses, face shields, hard hats, and so on.
Improving job site productivity means possessing a clear understanding of exactly what is going on. That means gathering data. Two main avenues for gathering data are asking and observing. Asking questions can be accomplished through interview or questionnaires. Observation includes analytic worksite documentation. Laborers and foremen have the ability to provide some of the very best feedback and can reveal things missed by numerical indices. But while answers to management's queries have very clear significance, the feedback can be tough to measure or model. A complaint about tool availability, for instance, doesn't indicate how pervasive this problem is. A factual accounting of worksite activities, however, would provide exactly that level of analytic power. So how can this be done? Through activity sampling. Activity sampling may include field ratings, productivity ratings, and the 5-minute rating. While all these provide some indication of how productive a workforce is, they do so with varying degrees of sophistication and statistical power. This means a couple of things. First, it means that there could be enough observations to rule out noise as an influence. Secondly, to be valid, observations must be done randomly. If every moment doesn't have an equal likelihood of being observed, then the data gathered may be corrupted by some form of sampling bias. Can a die that rolls 6 3 times in a row be trusted? Probably. Well, what if it comes up 6 400 times in a row? Not a chance. Get it? More observations means more statistical power. And what of random sampling? Why is that important? Imagine a superintendent who shows up only at noon to see if his worksite is busy. Chances are his non-random observations will give him a poor representation of the situation. Random sampling provides data from which statistical inferences may be made. Once data is acquired and analyzed, it must be interpreted and presented if decisions are to be made. A field rating counts the number of people engaged in meaningful work against the total number of workers observed, providing a percentage of productivity. Similarly, a productivity rating provides a percentage of engaged workers, but further discerns between effective work and contributory work. A 5-minute rating provides a non-statistical, quick and dirty look at the situation. Presentation and implementation may be performed with one of the following techniques. A crew balance chart allows task allocation to be represented graphically in chronological progression. It can be used to easily identify inefficiencies. A process chart is a sequential list of steps, coded by symbols dependent on the step's nature, and a flow diagram is essentially a line sketch depicting the movement of people, materials, and equipment. This encapsulates the process of data acquisition, analysis, and presentation.
Odebrecht conducted the analysis of the existing operation at the construction site. Developing this analysis, Odebrecht performed observation sampling at the construction activity. As a result, we obtained a total of 62.4% of productivity performance on site. We determined a total of 4 factors that affect the behavior of our selected site activity, which is storm sewer installation. These factors are weather, location, personnel, and equipment management. In terms of personnel and equipment management, a total of 11 workers and 3 types of equipment were found on the construction site. After observing work routines, there is a clear cycle composed by 6 of these workers that facilitates the analysis of the construction activity. These workers are distributed equally into different labors. For instance, there are 2 operators, one for the backhoe and one for the excavator. Besides, there are some workers who develop activities without equipment interaction. This is the case of common laborers located at the surface level and natural. The stockmen develop activities like pipe saltwater and pipe cooking. The bottommen focus on the air work underneath In order to understand the natural flow process of the activity, Odebrecht performed the flow diagram of the M-core construction operation. These approaches facilitate the definitions of the activities included in the typical cruise cycle balance to perform productivity improvement assessment. As a result of all the evaluations performed, Odebrecht found a typical cruise cycle balance of 49.20 seconds, which means an equivalent of 82 minutes or 1.36 hours. This amount of time, translated into number of cycles per day, is equivalent to 5.85 cycles. Considering that the unit of measure of our activity is linear feet, and under a typical cycle of 15 linear feet installed per cycle, the productivity rate found at the construction site is equivalent to 1.82 linear feet per man-hour. This productivity entails a cycle cost of $700.63 per cycle and a total unit cost of $279.97 per linear feet.
The typical crew balance chart of this construction site was analyzed. Based on this analysis, 3 different improvement plans were proposed to enhance productivity on site and decrease total idle time of resources, as well as attempting to decrease the total cost. 2 heavy equipment, backhoe loader and